Hello, how are you? This is Matthew from LoveBudi. We're here today with another love tip. Love tip today is about offending. Offending people. People get offended, saying things, doing things, believing things, thinking things that offend other people. It's 10 a.m. right now on Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019. We're here in the Philippines in a little city called Ormoc. Actually outside the city a little bit. And we've had a storm last couple of days ago that went through and made it really windy. And right now, by the way, it's 10 p.m. in New York, 10 p.m. on Wednesday night, the 17th of July. Well, let's get to it here. Let's talk about offending people. We've got about 7 to 15 minutes here. Normally, I like to keep this love tip to under 15 minutes. We intentionally offending people. Intentionally, we want to offend them on purpose. That's not part of love. Part of love is not revenge. It's not being hateful. You know, when we offend somebody, we want to hurt somebody, that's a hateful kind of a thing to do. That's more at the hate scale than it is at the love scale. Maybe the greatest hate that we can do is abandonment. People feel self-righteous about that. They just abandon somebody. They don't answer the phone. They don't answer messages. They don't respond. They don't open their heart and say, what you did, what you said hurt me or made me angry, and I just don't want to interact with you anymore. Offending people on purpose is never the loving way. Even if we think we are teaching them a lesson, because we don't teach lessons. That's not how love works. We don't teach lessons by setting up some kind of a hateful scenario, some hurtful scenario, some trick, some manipulation. Love is open and honest. It's direct. Love doesn't play games. So we don't offend people on purpose. We don't offend people to teach a lesson. We don't offend people as a joke. How about if we offend somebody unintentionally? What if something we say, it offends them? What if our very presence, what if our very existence offends somebody? What if, okay, here's an example that leaps to mind that maybe is one of the stellar examples of how people can get offended, how one can offend people unintentionally, and that is when a black person and a white person get married. They're walking down the street hand in hand, they're in public, they're kissing, or they're showing affection, or they're showing that they're obviously a couple. Now, there are certain people, believe it or not, there are certain people in this day and age that find that offensive. How about two gay people? That could be really offensive too, right? Two men kissing in public. People get so upset. They get so excited about that. They get so offended. What can we do? Well, we certainly don't want to rub anyone's face in anything. That's not our goal. That's not love. Love is respectful. Love is kind. Love is considerate. So love doesn't rub someone's face in something and do something just to get somebody angry. However, at the same time, sometimes we need to stand up for what we believe in. And if we have a partner who is either black or white or, you know, some different race, or they're gay, or who knows what might be offensive to some people, we don't need to hide ourselves. We don't need to feel that there's something wrong with us. Sure, we're respectful of others, but we also are respectful of ourselves. And as long as we're not hurting anybody, as long as we're not vengefully, rudely rubbing someone's face, you know, forcing it upon them to accept what we're doing. You see they get upset, we can have compassion. Like we accept them to have compassion for us and the way we want to live our lives. We can't judge and say, hey, that guy's wrong because he's offended. You know, we don't go there. But what we can do is we can say, I don't want to be offended myself. I'm not going to take that stance. For me, myself, it's really, really hard to offend me. Not because I'm so spiritually advanced, but it's been more like a matter of that wavelength I just don't get. And I don't feel so proud. I never felt so proud of myself that I felt that I could be offended by something. So if somebody walks out, I remember one time I was with a buddy of mine, and we're both straight. We're both with women at our homes, but we were out together walking or something, and a couple of guys walked by, and the guy said something. I was 17 at the time. The guy said, "Hey, looks like a couple of fags." Now, my friend was really offended by that. He got angry about that. He didn't say anything to them, but he was really hurt. And I was like, "Hey, man, that's fine. Whatever those guys want to think, we're not gay, and whatever." So that's an example of one time I just didn't feel offended, but that's okay. Other people, you can feel offended if you want. People can feel offended if they want. We cope with that because that's what love does. Love learns both sides. We learn if we're being offensive to somebody through our negligence or on purpose. And if we're getting offended, we can take a look at, well, should I be offended by people being happy or people showing love for each other? People that love each other, is that okay? Do I need to be offended by that? So much of when people get offended, they get really self-righteous. Maybe they feel like they're superior in some way. They'll get angry and they'll point the finger at somebody else instead of looking at their own behavior. For me, I choose not to be offended. I choose to allow other people, as long as they're not hurting anybody. Hey man, be happy, do what you want to do. So this sensitivity can really be part of the situation. If we're hypersensitive, if we don't like the fact that somebody doesn't behave in a certain way, and we take offense to that. When we're hypersensitive, when we're too sensitive, we can be angry all the time as kind of a barrier, as kind of an anger, as kind of a way to say, I'm hurt. I'm hurt by that. I want love from you. I want sensitivity from you. I want you to be kinder to me. I want you to notice me. I want you to care about me. I want you to give me attention, give me affection. But instead you're doing this, and I'm offended by that. Some people need some hand holding. They need some hugs. They need some kind words. They're sensitive and they need that, and they will act up in certain ways that will sometimes create a negative response in others. They don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to say. It's a vulnerable thing to say, look, I wish you noticed me in the office. I wish you, when I say hi to you, when I look at you and smile when we pass in the hallway, I wish you would notice me too. And it hurts when you don't, because you matter to me, but I guess I don't matter to you. So when a person feels that and they don't say that, they don't really even understand that themselves. Sometimes they'll come across and they'll be offended. They'll be angry. Even they will act in a way that's rude, as kind of a childish preemptive strike kind of a thing, like the military might do. Kind of oh, I feel you're a threat to me, so I'm going to attack you. And that can be really counterproductive, can't it? And if we are the victim or the recipient of such attacks, we don't want to return anger for that. If we're conscious, if we're communicating, if we're aware, we do our best to be loving, we're going to find out what that person needs. And we're going to hopefully we can give them what they want, the attention that they want. The barriers to love. There's so many barriers to love, right, that we can put up. Things that we are unable to do. Love practices, love qualities that we're not aware of, love qualities that we haven't really practiced, love qualities that we're not too skilled at, that we're learning. And these can be barriers to love. So if we feel offended, we get upset, we're hypersensitive, we're kind of vengeful, or we're cold-hearted towards people that maybe they're taking offense to how we're behaving. It doesn't mean they're right and we're wrong, or we're right and they're wrong. It's not about right and wrong. It's about how can we get along together well. How can I be strong enough and confident enough and loving enough myself? Love is infinite power. You never, ever, ever have to feel threatened by anything at all from anyone, especially someone who's upset and they're offended. They need your love. You don't need to feel threatened by that. You don't need to come back with some kind of cold-hearted, behavior, some kind of vengeful behavior, some kind of an inconsiderate behavior. We have love in our hearts, and we just need to tap into that infinite fountain of love, and we can be generous to someone who's hurting, and maybe they're even saying something that's rude or angry or they're hurt. So what? Doesn't matter, doesn't hurt us. Find out what they need, find out what they want. They're coming to us. If we can, let's be loving to them if we can. So we offend people by accident. Let's not offend people on purpose. And if people do get offended, people get upset, it's not about apologizing for who you are. It's not about having no self-respect. Sure, absolutely, stand up for who you are, respect yourself, love yourself, nurture yourself, protect yourself, be kind to yourself, but also be those things to the other person. Try to understand where they're coming from, have some empathy, listen to them. We don't have to apologize for who we are or degrade ourselves in order to love someone else, in order to say, wow, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you by doing that. It wasn't about you at all. It was just about my selection of a mate or my selection of this or that. But I didn't mean to hurt you by that, and I'm really sorry, that wasn't my intention. Of course it's what I believe in. Of course it's what I want to do. But I didn't mean to hurt you by that. And I hope that we can get over that, and I hope that's not in the way of us having a nice, positive relationship and nice, positive interactions. So there's really a way that we can deal with being offended, offending others, and avoiding offending anyone on purpose, and finding a better way to interact with others when we're aware of love and how love can be in our lives. Just this magical thing that takes conflict, it takes problems, and it just solves them. It takes knots and it unties those knots. It takes these dissonant chords and it makes them harmonize. Okay, so that's it for today. This is another love tip from LoveBudi about being offended, people getting offended, people feeling offended, offending people. Going to be back tomorrow at the same time. We're here every day with a new love tip. Sunday, 10 a.m. Philippines time, or 10 p.m. on Saturday, New York time, we have what's called a love cast. We go into more details. We're going to be talking about some other things coming up on Sunday. Hope everything's going great with you. I hope you have a lot of love in your life. Read the comments here. Join LoveBudi.com. Got a course coming up next week that we're offering. Love 101 just talks about love. And we're here every day. Thank you so much. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye-bye for now.